Okay, so we were all just talking before the call. We're going to try to do something fun today. We were going to do the first survey, then we're going to introduce Jesse, then we're going to do the second survey. The first survey is what's your role, the second survey is what's your ARR range. Then we're going to pull somebody up and give them 2 minutes to pitch themselves to the entire show. And the goal is to book a demo. Yeah, lower my desk. Is anybody excited about that possibility? Does anybody even want to participate in that? Show me some, yes, please. Yes,
All
please.
right.
Okay. Okay. So John, let's roll the first, let's roll the first survey, either roll or ARR. Yeah. So we're going to roll this one for like 30 seconds. Let me know your roll. And then, let's introduce the one and only Jesse Stein. Let's let you introduce yourself. Tell us what you've done.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Pete, for having me. Thanks, everyone, for joining. My name is Jesse Stein, and I've been a tech entrepreneur for 25 years, a bootstrapped tech entrepreneur for 25 years. Have been lucky to build and sell three things, and then most of my businesses. So I've had three exits. I founded sportsmemorabilia.com, bought that as a raw domain name in 2006, and with an extraordinary team and two co-founders, we built it into the biggest autograph store on the internet, top 500 internet retailer, and we sold it to fanatics. And then I've sold two other things. I have built a number of lean, bootstrapped, cash flowing businesses. I do not have the Midas touch. I don't pretend to have the Midas touch. I've had plenty of things that have blown up on the launch pad, still make mistakes today, plenty of them. And I'm super grateful and happy to be here.
Hey, it will become readily apparent to the audience how our shared values as we proceed with the show. So, okay, John is now currently sharing the breakdown of the roles in the call. Now let's roll the second poll, which will be ARR ranges. While we're doing that, can we get some hands up for people that want to do the book a demo challenge? So what the book a demo challenge is, to go over it again, you're going to come up and basically pitch me, Jesse, and Pete. We're going to grill you for 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, if somebody in the chat who is a participant in the show, if somebody books a demo with you, you win. If not, you got to work on your pitch, dude. Right? All right. So Michael's the only one who wants to do this. Yeah. So let's do a okay. So okay, to give you an idea, those so you know who you are talking to. This is the ARR range. 25% pre-rev, 31% 1 to 200K, 17% 200K to 1 million, 20% 1 to 5 million ARR, 4% 5 to 10, 4% above 10. Okay, we're going to bring up Michael. Oh yeah. Michael, we're bringing you up. Are you ready, Michael?
We will start doing this regularly. So come prepared next week. I'm saying.
Job is sitting there saying he ain't ready. I'm ready right now. Let's go.
Hey guys, how's it going? Really happy to be here.
What's up, Michael? You got a camera, or are we going to look at your name all day?
If you give me a minute, I can get a camera. Is that okay, or is no
well,
camera fine? Is no camera fine?
I mean, I think it's just going to be, yeah. Come back next week. We'll pull Job Gregory up.
Oh no, can I just continue?
Well, do you want to do an elevator pitch? Can we give you 30 seconds right now?
Sorry, dude. We'll have you next week. The rule is you got to have a camera because nobody wants to look at your name. Okay, so I got a 2-minute timer that is running, starting. What's up, Job? How you doing?
It's pronounced Job. I'm great, Adam.
Oh,
How you
Job.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's
zinger.
my
Okay,
curse. It's my curse.
two
It's how it
minutes
goes.
starting right now. Boom. Pitch all of us, and the goal is to have somebody book a demo. Let's go.
Founder-led growth. The whole pitch is you as the founder are the preeminent expert on earth on your specific problem space. Nobody has obsessed about it more than you. You know more than everybody else. The problem is you just need to get the word out, and you've got a million freaking things to do. You have no time to produce video content. Well, just come to us. We do a 30-minute conversation with you on Riverside, remote podcast style. We do lightning round questions for you. No prep needed on your end. We just have a regular conversation like you're talking to friends. And in that conversation, we can pull 5 to 10 short videos for you to post on LinkedIn, find your tribe, find your audience, acquire customers, build pipeline, close business. Let's go.
So this is an agency-ish.
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Well, what do you need? What do you need to pay?
Yeah. Well, if people are booking demos, I just feel like I have to ask, like, what is it like, $5,000 a month? Is it like,
$5,000 a month is usually what we do. The idea is we'll get people an easy onboarding to just try us. And then once they see it and they're like, holy shit, the videos are actually really great. The process is really great of getting them to talk and tell a story and hone the way that they're selling their hook, how to present an idea or tell a specific story, like the way we live interact and coach them through telling us a story. That's kind of a bit of the magic. But then, yeah, eventually it's $5,000 a month to do 30 minutes every week. And we just show up every Friday at like 8 in the morning and wrap.
Is it only video, or are you providing text with it as well? Like,
we'll upsell. Video is the main idea because we think it's just untapped on LinkedIn. You're trying to do it. LinkedIn wants to become either TikTok or Instagram. People think it's going to be the future. B2C is leading the way here. B2B is going to follow. But no, like the upsell is like, we'll do everything for you. Because once you start, everybody's using Descript and Riverside. You have the raw content from the founder who has the goods. Once you do that over time, you just take the transcript, and with a little AI, you can make blogs, longer form articles, your email newsletter, longer form video. So it's kind of like the whole content. We're basically, it's the Dave Gerhardt playbook. We're just stealing his idea. We're turning you, the founder, into a content factory.
Okay, now for the moment of fate, does anybody in the chat want a demo for, what's your company called, Job?
Anteater Media.
Intermedia.
Anteater, like little animal that goes.
Anteater Media. Does anybody want to talk to Anteater Media about founder-led growth? We got 75% founders here. Is anybody trying to tap into LinkedIn, up their video game? We'll give it 10 seconds. Yes. Wait, Mukund, do you want a demo? Okay, Christopher Jung is saying, need some ROI, 5K, what's the upside? Book of Job, turn it on. Interesting though. Okay.
I could do that.
I think
Christopher is interested. He wants some ROI. I can do some ROI stuff.
It looks like we got you. Wojciech is like, with all due respect, and this is coming from Europe, I think 5K USD is quite a lot because the interview itself can be done with anyone, but I would like a demo. There you go.
All right.
Okay. So
nice
you won our first, we got several demos out of our first live startup grilling. We'll do one every week. We want to facilitate everyone's business growth here. That is the goal.
Dude, get your name down. Wojciech. Hey, thanks, Adam.
Yeah. So you could just talk to them in the chat when you when you pop off. Dude, thanks a lot for coming on. Believe it or not, I believe in founder-led growth.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah, I'm like I'm a huge advocate of the general area of study that you're spending time in. And I think there is so much untapped potential if it all sort of lines up. So keep helping people with it. Scream about those playbooks when you get them, because that's really what people want. And good luck, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Sweet. Well, Ely's okay. Let's go back to Jesse. I'm excited about having Jesse on the show because when I was talking to Pete before the show about what we were going to talk about, Jesse has this incredible idea for what you should chase when you're starting a company. And I'm going to let him reveal what that is through telling his entrepreneurial journey story. So, dude, can we turn it over to you and just talk about the journey of sportsmemorabilia.com?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks again, guys, for having me. Hello, everybody. So, and for those of you who joined in the last 10 minutes, my name is Jesse Stein. I've been a tech entrepreneur for 25 years, right out of Wharton Business School in the late 90s. Started doing tech stuff and just right place, right time, beginning of the commercial internet. Built an interactive agency in 2000 and then sold it in 2005 to a portfolio company of Insight Partners. And then I'll get right to the sportsmemorabilia.com experience. And the most important thing for me by far, because you guys can get your money back, but you can't get your time back. And you guys are investing your time in this thing. And so my objective is just to get you as many actionable insights and hacks and strategies as possible to help you guys grow your businesses. So sold the interactive agency, and then I got totally fascinated with domain names, internet domain names, big, like category defining one word domains that had no synonym. Retention.com is an example of like an extraordinary name, and you guys have ridden that till the wheels fell off, and I'm sure that it's given you so much more value than you paid for it. So I started
Times Square real estate, brother. That's what these big
100%,
domains are.
100%. Times Square real estate, beachfront real estate, whatever your metaphor is. So I spent in 2006, 2007, 2008, I spent about $1 million on domain names. So I bought total raw domain names with no businesses on them, just the name. So hobbies.com was like 300 grand, boating.com, yachting.com, barbecuing.com, biking.com. But the one that really took off was sportsmemorabilia.com, and bought that, noticed that the memorabilia market was basically eBay, and a vast majority of it was fake. And so we thought that if we could become the de facto authoritative, authentic standard for memorabilia, then like we could make an impact. So launched that, and by far the most important thing we did, which I think you guys can maybe map onto your own experience, is just find a cheap acquisition channel. So in the way that Adam and Pete and collectively, they found, obviously LinkedIn with a lot of effort, right? A lot of effort, an incredible team. For us, it was SEO. So this was back in the day, right? But the challenge to you all, especially in an era where meta ads aren't working as well, is to find that cheap acquisition channel, because your CAC, and the other caveat too is find a product with 70% plus gross margins. So SportsMem combined those two, and there was a force multiplier there. If you've got 70% plus gross margins and a cheap way of acquiring customers, then the only missing variable in that equation is LTV, and just making sure that, right, you take care of customers and that you have, fairly large ticket, and you can hold on to them and keep churn low if you're a subscription business. But with SportsMem, we were really good at SEO. And even to this day, what we're talking about nearly 20 years later, the site ranks for virtually any number one for virtually any combination of player, team, memorabilia, autograph, signed, you name it. So the first pillar of success for SportsMem was cheap, sustainable acquisition channel. Then the other thing that I'd love you guys to explore, which is more relevant now than ever, is web scraping. So I don't know how many of you use web scraping. I'm sure most of you have heard of web scraping, but a very small percentage of people actually use it at scale. And so what is web scraping? And I'll show you how we used it at Sportsman to get an unfair advantage over all of our competitors. But web scraping is I mean, Google is the biggest web scraper in the world by far, right? It's just basically going to websites, scraping the data, copying the data, and putting that data somewhere in a database, organizing it, and then using it for a whole variety of reasons. So the way we used it at Sportsmem is we would do deals with hundreds and eventually thousands of small memorabilia stores around the United States. So for example, there'd be a memorabilia store in Chicago that had like the biggest selection of Michael Jordan memorabilia and White Sox memorabilia and Cubs memorabilia and Blackhawks memorabilia, right? And we would do a deal with them, and then we would set a web scraper to grab all their products off of their website and then upload them onto Sportsmem. And if you do that with 100 memorabilia stores, all of a sudden you have by far the biggest selection of anyone on the web. And so we ended up with about 300,000 products on the site. And then the cool thing is all your inventory is real time. So that store in Chicago sells, a Michael Jordan autographed Gatorade dunk shot photo, and it goes off of their site in real time. It goes off of our site too. So all and similarly, if they get a brand new piece in, then it goes on our site. And the diabolical shortcut there was we would scrape the data in real time, and then that memorabilia store would get, a Michael Jordan autographed wings piece, let's say, that would go up on our site immediately. And because we were 100 times more visible in the search engines than that little memorabilia store, we would often sell it first. So that was the second huge shortcut. The third one was CRO, which everybody should do at some point. Conversion rate optimization, right? Optimizing for website conversions is the cheapest, fastest, easiest way to make more money as an entrepreneur if you're an entrepreneur that has a website or landing pages to optimize. My favorite tool for that over the last 15 years, VWO. Visual Website Optimizer, VWO. I'm a fan of that one over Optimizely and the other tools. So Visual Website Optimizer, just optimize every element of your site, your landing pages, and optimize one variable at a time. So do A/B testing. I do not recommend multivariate testing. Multivariate testing takes a long time. Start with your home page and work your way down to the checkout page, because obviously the home page is where a majority of the traffic is. Okay, let's see. Fourth pillar would be obsessing over cash flow from the beginning. And I know like 63% of yeah. So this is something that I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs get wrong. They confuse profit with cash flow, or even worse, they confuse growth and growing top line revenue, and somehow, some way, it's going to end up as cash, and it often doesn't. And so like you have these three like report cards for your business, right? You have your balance sheet, you have your P&L, your profit and loss, your income statement, and then you have your cash flow statement. And the balance sheet is kind of like, your world atlas. It kind of shows you your assets and your liabilities and gives you like a big scope of a snapshot in time of where everything is and how your business is. Okay. And then your P&L, right, is gonna zoom in a little bit more to kind of a street level map. But remember, you can be profitable, but whether or not that actually comes out as cash flow, which is by far the most important thing for us, bootstrapped entrepreneurs, cash flow reigns supreme. And profit may never turn into cash flow. It depends on, right, how quickly you get paid, accounts receivable. It depends on how quickly you pay people, accounts payable. So the mission is, right, push out payables without annoying people, accelerate receivables, but also, it depends on how much inventory you have if you're a business that takes on inventory, whether you're servicing debt. So there's a lot of like mechanics in. So profit on the P&L is a theory about how the business is doing. Cash flow is a fact. Cash flow is a fact about the health of the business. So from the very beginning with Sportsmem, we completely obsessed over cash flow. And then the last thing, which is among the most important. I think all 5 of these pillars like are really, really important, but the last one I cannot emphasize enough, which is cultivate your strategic partnerships, which could include potential acquirers, could include, podcast hosts, journalists, amplifiers, you name it. Cultivate them from the very, very beginning.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Is everything okay?
Everything's great. Somebody just asked for where the recording was going to be, and fucking YouTube, you like go to YouTube and it starts playing the video on your audio. That's what happened. Yeah, finish your thought. There was a great question. Is your background real?
Oh, if you guys have the next 5 hours, I'll tell you about all the shit that hasn't worked out. So like I do not pretend to have the Midas touch. I don't seem to get any wiser with age. I have no ego around anything because I've been humbled a lot. But also with the mistakes I've made, trial and error is a slow boat. So you guys can learn from me. It's like you don't want to get 1 year of experience in 20 years. You want to get 20 years of experience in a year. And in my experience, like to talk to people and learn from people who've been there, done that is really critical. So that last pillar is super important. And you can leverage GPT now to do this very easily. Is like when you start a business, whether it's a coaching business, a SaaS business, a whatever business you're starting, you want to generate what I call the Dream 100 amplifiers. And all that is you're figuring out who are the folks who somehow are influencers in some way. And so what I do is I go to crunchbase.com. My hack for this is I go to crunchbase.com and I look at anyone who's been funded in my space. And I look at, and then I find who are the CEOs of those companies, who are the CXOs of those companies, heads of growth, CROs, and so forth. And then who are the VCs that funded them? And then I want to look at all the acquisitions in the space. Who are the bankers that were involved in those acquisitions? Who are the acquirers and who are the acquirees? So you kind of like get this, and then you add to that podcasters, you add to that all the various people who could stand up on a mountaintop, grab a bullhorn and yell really loud about your business, right? And you put them all, and you want to start cultivating relationships with them. And in the case of sportsmemorabilia.com, we cultivated relationships with the folks that ended up eventually acquiring us. And like getting acquired, and I've been lucky to exit three businesses, is of course the financials need to pan out. You need to have a really hygienic data room. It helps to have a great banker, an accountant, an attorney, and all that. But the most important thing is comfort, is just trust, right? And Adam is virtuosic at building trust. And the best way, and like take a page from Adam's book, and I'm not just blowing smoke because I'm on his podcast. He is amazing at adding value to other people. And I felt it from the very beginning of our friendship. I thought it was actually like maybe there's an angle he's working or whatever. He is just like, dude, let me help you out. Hey man, hey Adam, tell me what your AV setup is on your desk. And I was expecting him to like write he sent me the whole spreadsheet of everything, the microphone, the this, the that, he sends gifts. And you're kind of expecting, okay, what does he want in return? It's not jab, 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 right hook. It's just add value, help, assist. Of course, it comes back to him in spades, but that's kind of what you want to do. You want to take the Adam playbook and map it onto your amplifiers, the potential acquirers of your business, potential strategic partners. So if you're in the hospitality business, it might be a good idea to get to know the folks at OpenTable and Resi and so forth. But here's the caveat. You got to get to know them way in advance. So when it came time in 2013 to get SportsMem acquired, Michael Rubin, who had just acquired Fanatics, and he was in the captain seat of Fanatics, he had heard great things about us from multiple of our Dream 100, who we had been cultivating for years. And he was so comfortable that the first meeting was almost like it was just in the flow. And of course, it doesn't mean that you're going to get the exact price you want. It doesn't, but you know what? It greases the skids. And the process was really smooth. We got exactly the price we wanted, and it was incredible. And being a bootstrapped entrepreneur for me, beyond anything, allows me to design my own lifestyle, which I think is by far the most important thing. It doesn't mean the 5-hour work week is a total misnomer. I work very, very hard, but I'm super grateful. And bootstrapping is hard, takes time, and you have to make do with duct tape and twine a lot. But I'm really grateful in the lifestyle design that it allows me. So that was the long and short of the Sportsman story.
It's a beautiful story. Two things came to mind when you were talking. Number one, my first business, we actually sold to one of our customers who I met at a trade show before he was a customer 5 years before, and they were looking to buy a bunch of small email newsletter apps and roll it into their, thing that they were doing. And, it was the only one they looked at, and it was the only one they ended up buying. And there was it was just very straightforward to get the deal done because they knew who I was and they knew the type of businesses that I run, and they knew exactly what they were buying. And 3 years later, everybody's still there. It's crazy. So yeah, question about scraping. Does an example come to mind of how a SaaS company would use a web scraper?
Absolutely. So, oh my God, there's so many. So here's what I encourage you to do. This is one of my best kept secrets. Go to botster.com. Actually,
Botster?
bot, B-O-T-S-T-E-R here. B-O-T-S-T-E-R.com. .io. I'm sorry, botster.io. That's it. Okay.
I'm looking at it.
And it's insane. For example, you can scrape thousands of LinkedIn posts by not scraping LinkedIn. You can use Botster to scrape Google. And through Google, you can scrape those posts. You can scrape Google Maps at just staggering scale through them. So when you go to botster.io, you can check out tons and tons and tons of different types of scrapers, and you can literally configure them. And then if you reach out to my buddy Dennis, who's the founder and CEO, who's a fantastic person I've been working with for years.
We crashed their site.
What is it? Are you serious? Botster.io. Yeah, unless I got that wrong. No, it's definitely.
No. Everybody went there at once, and it's
oh yeah.
They're
sorry,
Dennis.
Fault. I'm sorry, Dennis.
That is fucking hilarious.
That's sweet. He'll love that. Actually, he'll love that. Well, go there later. Go there later. But Botster's great, and whatever you can dream up. So for a SaaS company, you could scrape a list of potential customers, right? My favorite place to grab customer lists is BuiltWith.
BuiltWith.com. Yeah, that's the only BuiltWith is the only reason I'm standing here today.
Dude. Yeah, you and I have probably been using BuiltWith for forever.
Literally forever. And by the way, it is probably the most epic bootstrap story I've ever fucking heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got employees now, but he was a one-man show at 15 million ARR.
Yeah.
With no costs. He might have 2 or 3 support reps now and be in the mid-20s, but the number, Santosh was saying one time, he was trying to either buy some data from him or possibly acquire the company. And the guy was like, dude, Santosh, can we talk tomorrow? I just smoked way too much weed today. And I Santosh is but you gave me the API thing. Can I pay you? He's like, just don't worry about it. Just send the cash whenever you want to. I don't really care.
Hey, Fred, Phantom Buster's good for scraping. I've used Phantom Buster. They're all, I wouldn't say they're commoditized, but they're all very similar. What you want to do is you want to get an account on Phantom Buster, get an account on Botster, and then you want to browse their selection of scrapers. And then you want to sit there with a notebook, and you want to, remove yourself from any distractions and think for a half hour about how would we use scrapers to add rocket fuel to our business? In the same way that Built With has added rocket fuel to Adam and my businesses, scrapers are magical. They definitely require more work sometimes. Octopus, yeah, Octopus is good. Oh, Octoparse, okay. Yeah, I do not recommend Octopus CRM anymore just because it's an automated LinkedIn tool and that can get you into trouble.
Yeah, and get you in trouble. So, Mikola, I want to throw you some props. Datanize was definitely on my radar, but man, it's hard to buy that thing. You know, like that was just it. There was like a mid-market enterprise sales motion, and like the Built With guy was just like, yeah, give me $295, cancel whenever you want. If you want to come back and use it later, which we always did, always.
Yeah.
We like pay the $495 1 month, you know, go do your thing for 3 months and then come back and pay it again when you need a new list. Yeah, that was why we didn't use Mikola's brainchild or growth child or whatever you want to call it.
Scraping thing that like I've found. So a lot of where a lot of sales and marketing people will get data, usually Built With or ZoomInfo, Apollo. Let's take ZoomInfo and Apollo as an example. Number one, they have so many records that like the update refresh takes quite a bit of time. When you scrape, you get real-time data whenever that scraper went through the web. And number two, a lot of the data points that some of those bigger contact databases have are assumptions based off of other data points, which may even be outdated or incorrect. So when you scrape, you get like this very real-time, as Jesse said, it can be a little harder, but like you do get a real-time read on actually what's going on. And depending on what you're scraping for, it's, yeah, it can make all the difference. Cool. I want to get into something. I'm literally picturing Jesse like trying to connect the bankers and the podcasters, like the Charlie Day meme. Like It's Always Sunny, where he's got the raccoon eyes. And
right.
But a lot of these worlds, like I've noticed, they're just so small. So when you talk about Adam's, not knowing when like that reciprocity is going to come back, and it just sort of comes back in like karma or space or like this other unconnectable thing, like. I've been shocked at how small these worlds are. So just remember that as you're interacting with people. And I think that really sums up your point, Jesse. But I wanted to get into something around like, so you started, you're on 4 right now. That seems to be successful. Maybe another exit. I want to get into like idea generation. So you, Adam, even myself, most of the ideas that you have do not become the ones that you pursue. There's way more ideas floating around in your brain than you actually can execute on or develop a plan on or whatever it might be. So, some of these people are very early on. So as they're going through, maybe they have a little bit of revenue and are searching for some confirmation or validation. But like, as you've gone through your businesses, Jesse, and maybe the Wrinkle Cream business is a good example of this, but how have you gone about the idea sort of validation? Like, okay, I'm at Sephora, I see that there's this expensive wrinkle cream. How can I
good memory.
By the way, few people have said you look young, and I want everyone to know this man started a wrinkle cream business. So
yeah, it's all the wrinkle cream. It's all the wrinkle cream.
But yeah, I'd love to hear about some idea generation, validation, and kind of those early steps to knowing when to push the gas on a certain idea.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the magic formula, but it usually for me comes from a need, like the wrinkle cream or something where I was flabbergasted. My wife was buying this is in 2004, and she was buying, one of these creams at Sephora for $50 or whatever. And I was just shocked that the whole store was filled with them. And so I could see that the TAM, the total addressable market, was huge. And those are kind of the third requirement for me. So it's like a need, huge TAM, and then 70% plus gross margins. If the 70% plus gross margins are there, man, you better have some serious distribution partners or some way of or some funding source that's ironclad, because it's difficult to make it out there. And so the wrinkle cream had more like 85, 87% gross margins. And I found out as I was developing my own product called Dermapearl SP, which we ended up selling $50 million of online, that you can't spend more than $4 on a wrinkle cream. L'Oreal, Revlon, all those things that you see out there, there's nothing, Lemaire, nothing costs more than $4. So we did it for 4, charged 90, and did it on continuity, and the average person stayed on for 1.6 months. And we used affiliates. This was in 2007, 2008, 2009. Used affiliates to push it out. Sold 50 million bucks of it, and then sold it to a porn kingpin in 2009 who flew in on his Challenger 604, wore sunglasses throughout our meetings. We met him on a Monday, and he wired the money on Wednesday, and started flying around the country and like meeting with all these big gatekeepers of internet traffic, and then like scaling the business. But that was a story. That was a story with Dermapril SP.
Wow.
And the ideation there.
Incredible.
The other, actually, the one thing I will say that is among the most important axioms for a bootstrapped entrepreneur, and something I need to continuously remind myself of, which relates back, Pete, to your question of like the ideation piece. So, and this is something that a vast majority of entrepreneurs ignore, and they ignore it because they're smart. A lot of bootstrapped entrepreneurs are very clever and very smart. And so they tend to, smart people are curious, and curious people tend to lurch toward the shiny and the new. And they tend to pick up shiny pennies. And so what happens is the axiom is discover what works and do more of what works. That's it. That's it. And it is incredible how many entrepreneurs, myself included, will like find something that works inside their business, and then they see another shiny penny that's related to it, and it feels good to do it, but it's not the thing that worked. So you might find that, like, you know, reaching out to people in your network, and then you're starting to close them, and that's working. But what do? You say, that's not enough. This is super interesting too, and you move on to the next one and the next one. And this was memorialized in a book called Shift. And it's a chapter in the book Shift called Bright Spots. And that piece of learning is Graham Weaver, who founded Alpine Investors and is a self-made multi-billionaire and has now invested in 600 portfolio companies. He says that chapter in the book Shift called Bright Spots, which is all about discovering what's working and do more of what's working, double down on what's working instead of moving on to the next project. Graham Weaver, who you guys can look up, he's an incredible, also Stanford professor and amazing. He says that chapter in Shift has made him more money than anything else. So for me, I bought hobbies, I bought biking, I bought all these internet domain names. The thing that worked was Sportsman, and we doubled down on that and ignored the other domains.
It's this weird phenomenon that happens where you start growing, and the tendency is to diversify your growth channels for the sake of diversifying your growth channels. I think it's maybe partly to de-risk. People do it partly to like invest in the future, knowing that what works today might not work tomorrow. But I'm a big believer in exactly that, Jesse. It's like triple down on your strengths, blatantly ignore everything else. One day, it's going to slow down, but like figure it, worry about it that day instead of spending resources that could be spent on the thing that you already know is working to run an experiment. And most experiments fail. Most ideas don't become successful. Like that's just the reality of things. So I could not believe it.
Sam has an awesome question, Pete. Do you mind if I answer Sam Chin's question?
Let's do it, yeah.
Sam Chin says, hey, Sam, what's up? He says, a college student here interested in entrepreneurship. Any advice to find mentors and learn as quickly as possible? Sam, here's what's crazy. We get approached way like not as often as you would think. And so if we, and by the way, I have plenty of mentors. So I'm not saying that I'm Mr. Mentor. I do a lot of mentoring. I enjoy it, but we don't get approached as much as you'd think. And maybe we can't meet with you right now. But we say in Q2, I would love to meet with you. And I just say approach as many mentors as you can and learn about them beforehand a little bit. And so you come at it not as a spammer, but as somebody who like has gone and done your research. And it's very seldom that an Adam Robinson or me or Pete or someone else will say no. And God knows I need all the mentorship I can get. And so I'm approaching people all the time too.
We are seeing this come up all the time. Like Adam gets inundated with requests for Jack. Hey, can you come to my like?
I think just because of the type of content that I create, I get an outsized number of requests relative to anyone who wasn't doing that so publicly. So unfortunately, I actually can't take calls with everybody. But I do, you know, someone gives me an intro through a friend, I talk to them. You know, I meet somebody in Austin who's starting a SaaS, I sit down, I have lunch with them, right? Like, I totally agree. And by the way, you introduced me to somebody who I hope becomes a great mentor of mine, Brett Hurt,
100%.
who
100%.
is
Brett's
like a
awesome.
6-time serial founder, took a company, Bizarre Boys, from $0 to IPO as the CEO. And he's a great guy around Austin. I've already done 2 or 3 things with him. I'm going to Necker Island with him in March.
Awesome.
I'm doing this like Austin 100 thing that he and Jason Bear put together at the end of January. And my whole deal is like, he's an awesome guy. He's got great values. We are, even though I'm a bootstrapper and he's very much not anymore because he's so good.
Yeah.
I just like think it's so helpful to spend time around people that are thinking at this scale that's so much larger than I am thinking, you know.
100%.
And they've gotten so much farther in their career. And John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, is that for him. So like that's this event we're going to. Anyway, yeah, I want more mentors too, you know.
Awesome. Awesome.
For very early stage people, so we noticed I was getting a ton, and I've known Adam for quite a while. You've been pretty ruthless about prioritizing meeting with those people, and whether it's lunch, dinner, whatever. I mean, at any time of the day, I just always know you're connecting with those people. We've noticed, especially kind of post COVID, everybody's remote. It's much harder to rub shoulders with people. Everybody's more spread out. We're starting a community for very early stage founders. I'll drop like a link to Adam's video about what exactly that is, but we've noticed this phenomenon, and we're trying to do something to address it and try to ramp a little bit in 2025. So if you're feeling lonely as a founder, stuck, whatever it might be, I'm going to drop a video in here. And
But by the way, Michael, did you get your camera situation sorted out yet? If you can get it sorted out, we'll call you back up to pitch everybody again. Just
you got a few minutes too. You got a few minutes.
If you get it sorted out, just tell us that it's sorted and we'll call you up. Anyway, yeah, John Ely's messaging you. Yeah, Rupp wants everybody wants to hear the pitch. I actually like that. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, like hearing the pitch and then actually people raising their hand to I want a demo, Michael, says Niku. That is the best pitch. Okay, so
I got one. Should I answer one of these questions?
Can you tell us what you're currently doing? How about you pitch them?
Yeah,
you pitch everybody and see if people want to demo with you. This is like, but by the way, this is like the most epic credibility and trust building. Like if every pitch could be an hour of you talking to people like this, it doesn't matter what you do. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna wanna do business with you. So yeah, tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, so we have a company called Hermetic AI, and we've developed an agent that sends text messages called Mia. And all Mia does is she engages with inbound leads. So you've spent all this money and time generating leads, right? That come in through different sources. They often come in through a submitted web form, right? Through email, phone, maybe, depends on your industry, depends on your motion, right? Your outbound motion or however you're generating leads. So it costs you a ton of time and treasure, right? To generate these leads, yet most people don't engage leads in a personalized, fast way through a channel that has 100% read rate. And so what Mia does, she's an AI, and we've been developing her with a 6-person software engineering team, my incredible co-founder, Brandon, and then Bensa, my technical co-founder who worked at Morgan Stanley and BlackRock for 5 years leading AI teams. What Mia does is she sends a text message within 30 seconds of an inbound lead coming in. So we audited 500 SaaS funnels, and the average response time was 17 hours. 17 hours, right? There were some autoresponders, HubSpot autoresponders, that doesn't count, right? 17 hours. So what Mia does is she gets there within 30 seconds with a personalized text message. So speed to lead is critical. You want to get there first, and you want to get there while they're in the Lion King gift shop, right? Right after they've seen Lion King, so to speak, right? They're excited. They're on the website. Like, don't reach out to them 17 hours later. Don't reach out to them an hour later. The half-life on a lead is very, very short. So Mia gets there. She engages the lead. She qualifies the lead by going back and forth. So to make sure that doesn't turn into a junk demo or a junk meeting. Then she routes the lead. If you've got multiple AEs, let's say, she routes the lead to the right account executive. We integrate with all the sales calendars. So now she books the lead as an appointment. So she goes from cold inbound, well, warm inbound, engagement, qualification, she books it, and then she follows the user journey all the way through to long-term nurture, all by text message. So a lot of leads, as you guys know, no matter how awesome your anonymous visitor website tracking is, no matter how awesome your product is, no matter how awesome your service is, a lot of leads just disappear into the ether. And when they disappear, guess what? HubSpot on down, woefully ill-equipped to follow. How do you follow up? What do? You trigger some lame 4-email sequence? What do? You set a task? How can you do that at scale with thousands of leads? And so what Mia does is she keeps track of all those, and she can have thousands of conversations simultaneously. We're starting in hospitality, in private events. And so that's another thing I've learned over the years. By the way, none of what I say is advice. It's all experience share. It's all experience share. That's all I can do. But one thing I've learned over the years is, and a great piece of advice that Godard Abel, who's founder of G2, gave me that I shared with Adam. I had a great meeting, a couple of meetings with Godard, who's amazing, obviously, $115 million in ARR, G2. He said, you must niche down into an ICP, and you must talk their talk, walk their walk, get testimonials from them. Eat, sleep, and breathe that ICP. And then fine, if you've established that beachhead and you're ready to go bigger, that's fine. But show the discipline, show the restraint. He said that the horizontal players will never be able to compete against you. If you're niche down and you talk the talk of restaurants and you know exactly all their needs, and Mia speaks their language, he said the horizontal players are completely defenseless. So that's the long and short of what Mia and Hermetic AI do.
Thank you. That rocks. Who wants a demo of Hermetic AI? Let's get Jesse some demos here.
Sweet.
Somebody already said they wanted one, but
and fully agree on the niching down. Like, especially, I mean,
Right,
I hate to bring it to community again, but like a
yeah,
lot of
okay,
people,
dude, they're rolling in. We got you 4 or 5 right here.
Awesome.
Okay, so just before we run out of time, let's have Michael sort out his camera situation. I'm feeling kind of guilty that we just like flushed him. So we're going to pull Michael back up. We're going to give Michael the 2 minutes to pitch everybody. How about you guys grill him, since I grilled Job the last time? And then after 2 minutes, we're going to see if anybody in the peanut gallery wants to book a demo with him. There he is. There he is.
What's up, guys?
All right, Michael.
See my
Okay, tell
face.
us your company name first, and then go into your pitch. Ready, set, go. 2 minutes.
Okay, my company name is Event. Find us at event.app. Been around for a few months. I also just graduated college. Event is a SMS engagement platform where you can communities would use us to collect RCPs, participant data, and communicate all through SMS. So essentially, instead of I don't know, a student group on campus or a church collecting RSPs through clunky forms or email, you can just text Shabbat the RSVP, and then you'll have like a data on our platform. You can see exactly who RSVP'd, and you can also set automated question flows to get those specific types of information that you want as an event host. I don't know, like, do you have any allergies? Are you bringing any plus ones? Or can you make it to the pre-wedding ceremony? We've seen that SMS is super useful because what are the chances of someone opening up an email and responding email versus a text? Like 5 times greater over text. So that's what we do. We're everything community, event, and RSVP management, and we're built for community and organization leaders.
Grill him, guys. What questions do you have?
Anyone?
No, Pete.
I have one. Who are you, who are you targeting specifically? What types of businesses? Or
Yeah, it's less so businesses right now. We're more, our initial customers are like community organizations. Let's say a religious organization on a campus, college campus, or like a Freemasonry.
Nico asks, is this US based only?
Canada as well.
US and Canada. I have, well, 2
I would
minutes
love
is
to hear
up.
it, guys.
I have no further questions.
Anything?
someone said
So,
political as well? Like
Yeah, it can be
keywords?
political. Why
Yeah.
not?
so yeah, by the way, our audience, whoa, that was it. That was the timer running out. Okay, so our audience are mostly startup founders. So I don't know if there's like a perfect overlap. The other Job's pitch was, I think, a little bit more aligned with who the audience is. But let's see. Let's turn it to the chat. Does anybody want a demo of Event, which is SMS for community leaders, manage RSVPs, communications, and analytics through text? Let's give it 10 seconds. If I would have lived in the US, definitely yes. So you got a kind of.
I'll take it.
Where do you live, Nico? Romania. All right. Well, you got a demo if you expand to Romania.
Yeah,
It's better than nothing.
I don't know if
And it's 11 p.m. in Romania. So thank you
I don't know
for,
if SMS works out there, but
yeah, thank you for hanging with us. Dude, Michael, thanks for coming up.
there you go.
Appreciate your pitch. Best of luck. I think it's awesome that you've just graduated university and you started a startup. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, we got a couple minutes left. How about Jesse, tell everybody where they can find you, learn more about you, connect with you, whatever. And then if we get another good question or two, we can answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. Jesse at Hermetic AI. I'm just putting this in the thing. You can go to Hermetic AI and book a demo. So yeah, that's for Hermetic. And then just to leave you all with an awesome hack that has nothing to do with benefiting me at all. So something that's been amazing for me for years is what I call people also ask. And it's a really cool way to kill multiple birds with one stone as a digital marketer. Go to Google and type in like your head keyword. If you're, building a diet website, it might be, diet supplements or diet plans or something. And then you scroll down on Google, there's that area that's people also ask. Everyone kind of knows that area. That's the area with additional questions, right? That is with all of Google's processing power. That is the keyword universe surrounding your space. And so we're not talking SEO now. That's just one leg in the stool. We're talking about like very, very quickly developing a content strategy, your whole strategy for Quora, your whole strategy for Reddit, to develop blog articles, and also just to get your arms around your industry, generally giving you ideas. Type your head term into Google, scroll down to people also ask, and start clicking on those. As you click on the questions, it'll spawn more questions. And it usually taps out at about 80 or 90 questions. I can see Adam's doing it right now. So what you do, and then it gives you the questions that are the most important questions in your industry. But I know it's probably giving you some noise too. But it also gives you something more important than the questions, which are the answers that Google deems to be most authoritative. And those are gold. And the first thing you want to do with those is you take all the questions and answers, throw them into GPT, have GPT, tell GPT to reword them slightly, and then throw them up on your website, throw them up on Quora, throw them up on Reddit. And what that'll do is it'll start giving you authority on the search engines. But most importantly, 50% of searches now are voice search, Siri, Alexa, and so forth. Those little short punchy questions and answers are incredible. And what they'll do is they'll grease the skids for you for large language models. When people go and query, Gemini, and they query GPT, and they query Grok and so forth, your answers will start to come up, and no one's doing this.
That's a great hack.
Jesse's
Sweet.
just on the cutting edge. All these stories, are you like there the day after it was available? Like whether it's the domain thing or you're just running affiliate stuff online in 2007.
Thank you. I think all of us, thank you. I think all of us bootstrappers together have that same sense of urgency, because the threat of getting hanged in the morning focuses the mind, doesn't it? So it's like when you don't have the cash backup with a funding source, I think it's incredibly liberating. It's a little scary, but it forces you, I think, to be more creative than other folks, perhaps. So I think we're all
okay. By the way, Jesse, when I asked about your background earlier, they weren't talking about your resume. They were talking about what's behind you.
Oh,
where are you?
This is Key Biscayne, which is about 50. It's an island 15 minutes from downtown Miami, and my favorite car by far is my golf cart.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing Key Biscayne when I come hang in April for the YPO marketing event.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Thanks for speaking at that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's just about the end of it. I think one last question I saw was kind of interesting. I just want to ask it quickly before we leave. How many of your acquisitions came from inbound / you working the relationship versus you hiring a banker?
Yeah, they were all inbound. I used a banker for 2 of them though. So we didn't run a process. We kind of ran a half-hearted process for SportsMem, but it was like they already wanted to move forward. Michael Rubin's whole team knew us well already. Again, comfort and trust, right?
Yeah.
Comfort and trust will make it so you don't necessarily have to hire a banker and run a process. And remember, like if you're hiring a banker and running a process, you're either in a position of weakness or you're probably not going to get the price that you'd like. The ideal, and one of the benefits of cultivating all these people years in advance, is it becomes their idea. So just like in the movie Inception, right? If something's someone else's idea, it's like 100 times more powerful. So yeah, the 3 acquisitions. So in 2005, the interactive agency, that came because the acquirer had years of trust and comfort. SportsMem was Michael Rubin. And then the Wrinkle Cream thing, I joke that there's this porn kingpin guy who's actually a pretty serious-minded business person, but that came about because we had cultivated trust with everyone around him for years. And so he just flew in and he was ready to go. So, and of course, a strategic acquirer, much more powerful in terms of multiple than PE. And so forth. But it's my philosophy with this stuff. It's awesome to run a great business. And Adam, you guys have just a phenomenal business, but take chips off the table, whether it's cash flow from your business or whether it's selling some small portion of it. Just you never know when a black swan event's going to happen. That's my experience share.
Totally. Dude, this was really awesome. Thank you very much for sharing all your wisdom. We'd love to have you back on some other time. And dude, that's the end of today. Awesome. I don't know who's up next week. I did a crappy job at preparing for this. Let's see, who do we got? Oh yeah, Varun from Clay is next week. Co-founder of Clay. We're going to talk to him about what it's like to be riding on a rocket ship, which should be very exciting. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Jesse.